Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports.
Farmers Insurance Open this weekend out there at Torrey Pines. Both courses, right? They're playing both courses?
Yeah, so what they do is it's one of those deals that it's a 36 holes and they make a cut. It's a bigger field than most. The north-south got redesigned by
the Civil War.
Exactly. We don't really talk about in the south courses where they play the U.S. Open on. So they really renovated that north course pretty good to compete with the south course. They're both really comparable now. So it's a 36 holes. Everybody plays each golf course once and they make a cut. So yeah, I mean it's one of the premier golf courses, premier tournaments on the PGA Tour. You're coming off last week. It's one of those unique events. It kind of slits in the middle of last week at the old Bob Hope at the American Express Championship, and then next week we have the Pebble Beach tournament, Pebble Beach Invitation or Pebble Beach AT&T, and that's another Pro-Am format. So you're kind of looking at a Pro-Am format in the middle of the Farmers Championship in another Pro-Am format, which a lot of the tour guys don't really like to mess with a little bit. Some of them do, it's a 3-day event at the American Express with amateurs, and then they play their own ball on Sunday. Same way with the AT&T. They have 3 days with their amateur. They make the cut. They play on Friday. They're kind of unique events. And for tour guys, they either love it or they don't, right? And it's just one of those deals. They're long rounds. They're playing with amateurs. It's more of a personality trait if you like to deal with that stuff. But also it lends for some of these younger guys to get in some of these fields. They're bigger fields. They're not as I want to say pretentious as the well-known tour players. I could use another word for that.
Jerks,
entitled assholes, however you want to say it. But it's not for everybody. It really isn't. And it kind of lends when you start handicapping these type of events, who really likes that type of format. I mean, last week we actually was the first week we actually made a profit of plus $100. We didn't get quite the winner, but we did win our matchup. And then we did cash in on a top 10 pick on Jason Day. So we were profitable for the week of plus $100. Doesn't seem like a lot, but we didn't cash in last week. So we're down for the fiscal year. Similar scenario like we were last year, starting off the year. So I think we're minus $1,120 units, however you want to figure it out. Minus, but we're 1-0 on the matchups. Great card coming in this week. We're looking really strong. If the people who follow us on Twitter, we had a little shuffle. We had to post it this morning, and actually posted last night, I think, Tim, right? We posted everything last night, and I know our affiliates with our channel in Tampa, JP Peterson, our affiliates in South Carolina, our affiliates in LA, our affiliates in Ohio posted our picks that we had, and we're looking really strong on our picks. I don't want to say anything, but we do have Taylor Montgomery up there really, really close. Tony Finau looking real strong was on our pick also. Jason Day looking really strong again to finish in the top 10. So, we really got some really good strong picks looking in this week. Our ham sandwich pick is looking pretty not our ham sandwich, but we have our third pick in the box. It's looking really strong. I have to look at my card to see where we're at. But, it's early in the week. It's a little bit of a shuffle for us. We had to prepare a little bit early, but looking real strong with this pick all through the week. But one of the reasons why that they decided to start, this is the only event that they start on a Wednesday on the PGA Tour, is because they didn't want to compete with the NFL playoffs on Sunday. So another smart move by the PGA Tour. Has a tendency, what they do, that's one of the reasons why they moved the PGA Tour schedule earlier in the year, so they didn't compete with the NFL starting the NFL schedule, which is smart. I mean, there's not a lot of dummies that runs a PGA Tour, and that's one of those kind of shuffling events that they do this year. They don't compete with the NFL playoffs. So Hey, listen, yeah, like I said, we're off to a little bit of a struggling start, but looking real strong this week. We'll continue to build on our picks, but I'm looking forward to making pretty good money this week. Get on the positive side of our board and really kind of steamroll it next week going into the AT&T. And Tim, if you remember, I think we won AT&T. We picked the winner at AT. We picked Tom Hoagie last year, the winner of the AT&T, if I believe, and he was one of our ham sandwich picks. He was one of those long shots that we kind of liked and kind of propelled him through the year. And then we kind of got on a nice little roll steamer. We picked Scotty Scheffler at the Masters. We did. I do know that. So this is kind of the year that these guys are kind of getting into form a little bit, getting into character, as we say, and getting really familiar with their PGA Tour schedule, what these guys like, and getting familiar and playing really good golf on the golf courses that they like.
And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the fact that they changed days, and I don't think anybody will argue that that's a terrible idea because, like you said, there's not any dummies running the PGA Tour, and they know what's up. They know what the interest is. But them moving the tournament a day up during the week, how does that mess with the guys' preparation? Because golfers, like a lot of people, especially athletes, are creatures of habit. They have a routine before every tournament. They have certain things they do every day leading up to that tournament, starting on Monday, right? And then now that you've had a day taken away from you, I mean, how does that, some of these guys, how's that going to mess with their psyche, with their preparation, and with their overall game plan?
Well, a little bit is, I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, golfers are weird people in general, right? And they're creatures of habit. They got routine. You know, when you go to a golf course, tour players, the guys who are super competitive, they know their routine. They know their regimen. They know when to eat breakfast. They know when to go to the range, how many, an hour before, whatever fits their schedule. But the tour schedule told them up front. It wasn't like it's just thrown on them, right? So they know what they know what it is going into it. So they had the ability to prepare. Now, the great thing about the Farmers, it's one of the premier tournaments on the PGA Tour. Everybody wants to go to Torrey Pines. Great event, elevated purse for the PGA Tour, right? So, it's a little bit different, but it's not like super crazy different. And it's not so much different than playing in that, pro-am formats that you're playing 3 days with amateurs. They have to adjust. The guys who are good at it, they adjust. And it's no different than playing this week in the Farmers. But they know. It's not like they just, hey, listen, a week in advance, hey, we're playing on Wednesday. They know. They know the schedule. So the professionals, they adjust.
So the course, and I don't know if this is the north course or the south course, playing at a par 72, 7,060 yards. An $8 million purse, or $8.7 million purse this year. We started out with a $15 million purse at the Champions, of course. The tour has promised us bigger purses as a result of some of the live golf crap going on, and that's great. It's great for the players. And we've got live golf news that we'll talk about. They just signed a TV deal. We talked about that last week on From the Rough. We've got some more live golf stuff coming up next week on our regular show. Assuming Connie can accommodate our regular show next week. And we'll get into that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the odds for some of the guys. We'll get into your picks, Johnny. The favorite, though, this week, again, as John Rahm is looking for his, third in a row, right? Third win in a row as he's won the last two?
Well, he's won the Farmers, but the last two at the golf course. So he won the Farmers and the U.S. Open. Right. So it's not really the Farmers. And it's, listen, when they set up the Farmers, it's a completely different golf course when they set up the U.S. Open. Right. So you can't really, it's two in a row, looking for his third in a row at that golf course, but they're completely different golf tournaments.
And even though that being said, and being completely different golf course tournaments, man, stepping into that in that parking spot in that place where you've already won a couple of times, there has to be something to that.
Oh, no doubt. It's comfort zone, right? I mean, it's about where how your game fits. Like you the holes fit you. I mean, if you're a guy that likes to shape the ball right to left or left to right, and the holes are shaped that way, that fits your game, right? That's why you look at some of these old school designers like a Jack Nicklaus. Jack Nicklaus designs his golf course how he played golf. So a lot of his golf holes, majority of his golf holes, are holes that go left to right. That's how he played golf. He faded the golf ball. And and you look at some of the other designers who play golf that they shape it the other way, right? A lot of right to left holes. So you look at a golf course like that for John Rahm or any guys who are successful on multiple types of golf course. I mean, Tiger's a perfect example. I mean, look at 50% of his wins were on the same golf course.
Right.
Just because we always say that I don't want to wear this out and beat a horse in the mouth, but horses for courses, man, is key to the PGA Tour. And this is how these guys set up their golf courses. I mean, this is how these guys set up their tournament schedule, right? The courses that they have success in. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise. Listen, Tim and I talked yesterday. He's like, "How are we not picking John Rahm?" I was like, "Well, there's only enough birdies in that bag. Him winning last week didn't help him this week, right? It only helped him maybe for momentum, but he had momentum. He played good the week before, but there's only so many birdies in that bag."
Well, but
there really is. There's only so many birdies in that bag. So
but I mean, Rahm didn't just win last week. He's working on already. This will be his third win this year. He won Tournament of Champions. He didn't play in the Sony.
That's my
point. He won the American Express last week.
That's my point.
He's kind
of
on a roll.
So many birdies in that bag. There's only you only got so many birdies in that bag. And what I'm saying, momentum's great, but winning last week maybe wasn't the greatest thing for John Rahm.
No, but you always ride that hot stick when you got it, right?
Yeah, but that fire burns out. That's
absolutely, it always does. But
yeah. I mean,
for the good guys, it always comes back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's like if he would have played marginal last week, like played marginal, and then came into this week, I say I would have liked him this week, right? If he just played marginal. It's just different. I mean, it's just a different place. I mean, I know this is his hotbed, but I just didn't like him this week, and it's come fruition. And Tim, you text me, he's like, "How do you not pick John Rahm?" He's a favorite. I was like, I just don't like him. Hey man, you can only fit so many birdies in that bag, dog, and he just ran out of birdies.
Yeah, and I talked to you about distractions for John Rahm too, and you talk about that when you're making your picks. Is it in a big metropolitan area with a lot of hookers that maybe guys are going to be distracted from, right? I mean, certain guys we know are party animals, and we talk about Johnny Vegas and some of the other guys on tour that can get distracted by the party atmospheres. And but La Jolla, though, that's kind of a place near and dear to John Rahm's heart. I mean, he proposed to his wife there. He got his first tour win there.
He's not going. He's not going down to the Gaslight District and having fun. I mean, that's his hometown. He's having. It's a home game for him. But again, it has really nothing to do. In this instance, has nothing really to do with his place. I mean, at some point, Steph Curry. I mean, if he's going to make 100 3-pointers in a row, eventually he's going to miss some. Right? I mean, it's just you just lose that hot hand. And he just hot for so long, he just lost it, right? I mean,
he could never do that anyway. He's terrible at basketball. He couldn't do that anyway.
Who?
John Rahm?
Stephanie Curry.
Oh, you're stupid again.
She's terrible at her game. So, all right, well, Johnny, let's get into your picks and predictions for the tournament then this week. Johnny's picks brought to you as always by Turflife.club. It's not just an apparel brand; it's a lifestyle brand. Head over to Turflife.club today and get your window stickers and other stuff to become part of the club today. Do you even want to hear my picks for this week?
Oh, yeah, because we already got ours. We got ours in already, so there ain't shit we can do about it. So, Big Red, if you took Tim's picks, I'm sorry.
No, I'm 100% on Tony Finau this week, and
Yeah,
Not-
he shot
Yeah, not so
One over.
good today. Yeah, not so good.
one over. But we're on the board with some great picks other than that. But go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, because you can't mess them up at this point because they're already in.
Leave it to me to pick the worst one of your bunch.
So I had, of course, I had to pick John Rahm as my winner. I had to. I couldn't not do that. As much as you tried to talk me out of it.
Yeah, just keep going out on a limb, dog. Keep going out on a limb. That breaks every once in a while.
Look, like I told you, I don't care what the odds are. If that's my favorite, that's my favorite. All right. Doesn't matter if he's the favorite. He's my favorite too. I'm not going to change that. My boy Max Homa is my top 10 pick, and then my top 20. I'm going out on another limb here. Johnny Vegas, baby, my top 20.
I mean, that's the worst pick ever since we've been doing the show. And you know how many women are in San Diego?
They're not in San Diego. They're in La Jolla.
They're
La Jolla.
They're in Big Kink.
You know what? When they learn to say it right, then they'll sound like me because there's no H anywhere in there. It's La Jolla.
Did you see what he shot today?
No, I did not.
He shot 8 over.
Oh, that's nothing. He's got.
And he probably shot 8 over last night too. I mean,
think he was hungover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have I not taught you anything?
No.
I mean, do you not? There's one thing I told you in the last 3 years we've been doing the From the Rough podcast. Never pick Johnny Vegas in a city that has hot women.
Well, I've never.
Only thing I've ever told you.
San Diego. I don't know if the women are hot.
Well, I mean, you don't know they're hot. They're hot. They're. I mean,
how do I know that?
Did you see him play last week in Palm Springs?
Yeah.
He finished T20th. You know why?
Right.
You know why?
Women.
There's none.
There's no hot women in Palm Springs. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, they got oxygen masks on them. There's women, but they just got oxygen masks on them, and they're driving a wheelchair.
I've had worse.
Of course you have.
I just imagined a bunch of smashed old ladies with steering wheels. And I've got my wheelchair. I'm coming to get you.
All right, Johnny, who's your picks this week? Put us out of our misery here.
Oh, you done?
Football picks. Yeah.
Big Red, who you like this week? But before I jump in, this will be quick. Who do you like this week, Big Red? We're already in. Who'd you pick this week?
No, I'm all over Finau this week. I was a little bit into Cam Davis last week. He had a bad week last week, but
he's got something going on. He's going through some personal stuff.
Yeah, and other than that, I'm just riding Finau this week. We got a league up here that we're one and done, and once you pick a golfer, you're done with him. You can't pick him again. So I took Finau this week. I thought this was a good layout for Finau. He's performed well.
Yeah,
out there, and I just riding with him. And actually, I got up this morning, didn't realize that for some reason that the golf tournament started today, and I was up
because the NFL playoffs are Sunday.
I was up at 4:30 this morning and sitting at my computer, thinking about these thoughts that were going through my head, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just go ahead and throw a golfer in and get it done and over with. And yeah, I rode with Finau, and that's where we're at.
You want to give us the intro music, Tim, or we ain't got it?
Oh, you mean the our background music? I can do that.
No, picks for the golf. I mean, that's what we usually do.
We don't have intro music for that. We never had intro music for picks.
Yes, we have, but
anyway. And now it's time for Johnny's Picks on the From the Rough cast. I just renamed the show.
I love it. That's the best intro I've ever seen in my life. But thank you, Colby. We have to get a new producer apparently because that we do have one. He just forgets to push a button.
We never had one of those.
Like we talked about before, we profited a little bit last week, plus $100. Doesn't seem like a lot of money, but it was a profitable week last week.
Plus slide, baby.
Yeah, it's plus. And then this is how we started rolling last year, getting on a good run. But we got a good card this week, as Big Red said. We got we did pick Tony Finau as our first pick at plus 12-1. Didn't fare very well today. It's kind of a little different handicap in this week. We already picked this. We're giving you a little bit of recap, and if we'll have some matchups has a matchup on Friday and Saturday as the tournament ends on Saturday. But our second pick looking real strong at 30-1. Tyler Montgomery looking real strong. I think he shot 600 today. So we're looking really good. We've been riding him all year. The guy's going to win, and once he wins once, he's going to win more than once. So we're looking at him real strong with Taylor Montgomery. He's sitting there in that top 10 spot already. Another guy sitting in that top 10 spot already at 33-1, Maverick McNeely. Solid year, a little bit like Taylor Montgomery. Looking for him to potentially win this golf tournament again, like Taylor Montgomery. So he's looking real strong. He's already in the top 10 after the first round.
I'm just glad you're talking about Taylor Montgomery and not Colin Montgomery.
Yeah, Miss Doubtfire is not on our card this week. Big Red, I promise. So our ham sandwich pick this week hadn't really fared very well, but that's why we call it the ham sandwich. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it ain't. Sometimes that ham gets spoiled and the bread ain't real good. And this week, the bread ain't real good. Ryan Palmer at 100-1. I think he shot +3 today. That's not going to get you very well in the Farmers. But moving forward, our 2 top 10 picks this week are already in the top 10. Jason Day at +220 and Sahith Theegala at +425. They're already sitting in that top 10 pick. On top of that leaderboard, Jason Day shot 5 under par today. Sahith Theegala shot 6 under par today. So we're looking really strong there in our top 10 picks. And again, our top 20 picks are looking real strong after the first round. Alex Smalley at +280 and Hayden Buckley at +320. Both are firmly in that top 20. I think Alex Smalley shot 4 under today. I think he's tied for 18th. And Hayden Buckley shot 6 under today. And he's one of those guys that's finishing is already in that top 10 spot. We only needed him to jump in that top 20 spot to get a little bit of candy this week. So looking real strong on this pick. It's a little different week. Like I said, we posted those picks last night in our social media feeds, on our Twitter feed, all the way across the country through our affiliates. So looking strong this week. Looking forward to matchups, and let's keep our fingers crossed to get on another positive week this week.
Very good, Mr. John Gerbman, betting Gerbman Gerb. What's your new name?
You just got renamed too. Your show.
I'm putting that on a hat for you.